I hope that you have a tremendous conference so far. Today, I have the honor to talk to you about my personal past 10 years as a co-founder of whatchado. It's going to be a bit of challenging and tough for me to talk to you the past 15 minutes about the past 10 years. So I tried my best to kind of hurry through it, but give you valuable insights about my life as a co-founder. So the big four for life, as I mentioned before in the title, who I am, you can find me on various channels to reach out to me if you have further questions. So starting with what was happening or what happened the past years. In 2010, we had an idea. In 2012, we founded the company. So 2 years of working before basically establishing our company or our startup. So once upon a time, there was a friendship between me and Ali, and along the way also with Stefan, who's on the right side. We know each other from the mid-90s. And we had the idea basically from the 90s on that it would be pretty awesome to have a handbook of life stories. So not a handbook we used to have in primary school where we talked or wrote in about our famous dish or color, but about the professional way of life, basically, what we do for life. Because the challenge we basically were handling or had back then as a person as well was we were living in a job market or in a world where we on an average basis will have 11 jobs from the age of leaving school, basically receiving the diploma till getting to the retirement age, if we have a retirement in the next 20 to 40 years at all. So 11 jobs is much more than our parents used to have on average. And if you work 10 to 12 hours a day, and by that I mean not sitting in front of a laptop basically, but having this competent friend, a smartphone, we work more than we might should. In the morning when we wake up, we have a look in our emails, and that's not actually real working hours, but we do so. So we had the idea of a handbook of life stories in the sense of like, if you have the wrong job, you don't have your fun at the job, it's a waste of talent. And at the same time, lack of orientation in market, talking about the market where we have so many job titles and have no idea what it is all about. We had the pretty simple idea to interview in a video format people, professionals who had found a way of life, basically found their calling from all walks of life to be interviewed. So in 2010, we got a birthday gift. It was a shitty cam, basically, a 10 euros mic. And we had the guts to just start doing what we did, interviewing friends and family, interviewing them by asking them questions about the profession, basically, to give insights, valuable insights about their job. So in May 2011, we received our first check. It was a social impact award. We were honored by not the jury, but the community who said, hey, that's a genius idea you guys have. And back then, we only had a blog, not even a real platform. Our go live was end of June 2011, so a platform with only 17 videos. Today, you would kill somebody who would launch a platform with 17 videos, but back then, in 2011, it was the right decision we took. And a couple of hours or days later, we also had found basically companies who said, I like the ideas of you guys interviewing professionals. Can we be part of that? Like big shops like McDonald's or telco organization like Eins People or Verbund. So pretty much from the idea of a handbook of life stories to give insight and make it easier to become orientation in the job market, we had a business model in 2011. So video production was one key for success basically back then, us interviewing employees in current organizations and having a company profile hosted on our platform basically. And the value for the organizations to be part of that, basically paying us for that, was for getting access to a valuable target group. Young people between 14, 15, and 30 years old, basically, who are kind of seeking job orientation in life to find offers from organizations, basically. So we are four co-founders. We basically established the company in January 2012. That was the picture where we're signing together with Hansi Hansmann, our first business angel, our startup, basically. The big challenge back then, before founding whatchado, has been time, because we were doing that in our spare time. We had real jobs back then in 2010-11, before founding the company. We had our jour fixe basically each Sunday. And our parents and family and friends were asking us, what the hell are you guys doing in your spare time? You're not traveling around, you're working on what exactly? And the second challenge was the orientation for our platform, basically. who is our real target group? Is it career starters? Is it job seekers? Is it the youth only? Do we want to do it for B2B? Is it employer branding? Is it career orientation? So we were basically, from product perspective, struggling a bit. But we had started already. So it was 2012. And that was our growing stage where we say, let the games begin. So where you received the first investments, our first round, real round, basically was in 2013, where we received approximately €1 million. What did we do with the money? We could bring our idea from Austria, where we had started as our main and home market, basically, brought the idea and expanded to Germany in 2013, in 2014 to Switzerland. So German-speaking area, German-speaking countries, but still different markets than we were used to. And for that speed and for that expansion, basically, we received another investment round, 2.5 million euros. What did we do with that money? We expanded into other markets which were not really relevant, but we wanted to test the idea outside of the German-speaking countries. It has been Italy, it has been France, and Spain. Why did we choose those markets in particular? Because we said in Austria and Germany and Switzerland, you have a low youth unemployment. Whereas you have in Italy and Spain and also France a higher unemployment rate, also youth unemployment rate. Would our model also work in markets where the unemployment rate is high or not? The answer is pretty clear. It did not work out because employer branding for organizations is not really a thing they do, because they say unemployment rates are high. I post a vacant position, people apply for jobs because they are in a need of doing so. Whereas in Austria and Germany and Switzerland, we have a war for talents. We don't really have to apply. I mean, at the end of the day, we do, but we can choose between jobs, whereas that was not that easy in Italy and Spain. So we left those markets again. We launched a native app. So our platform was based on a web app, but we thought a native app is pretty cool. We launched a native app, just basically mirroring what we were doing as a web app. Was a fail because the offer was exactly the same. Why should I download the app where I can use it in a browser as well? We invested money in that, and especially time, but this was a fail. The second question we always had is like, we want to scale our content. So we don't want to produce videos in the entire world. We want to reach though the entire world. So we want to scale it with a DIY model. So do it yourself. But in 2015, where we came up with the idea and developed the idea, it was particular and mainly a desktop app. We are living in a generation of a smartphone. So that was a failure, which happened in 2015-16, where we had the idea of scaling our content with a desktop app. Who the heck should download a desktop app and use his laptop for interviewing himself, where everybody has a smartphone? In 2015, everybody had a smartphone. So that was the wrong strategy we had. But we had a growth in video because we produced the content on our own with our video production team. As I have said before, that was part basically of our business model. So starting with 17 videos, reaching in 2016, 5,000 videos, reaching 190 paying customers, and we had 60 employees end of 2016. So the motto was pretty much clear: play hard, party hard. But the challenge at the same time in that years from 2012 to 16 has been hiring the right candidates. Unfortunately, we were not really focusing on HR. Our business model was HR, but we did not have the right HR managers, basically, and not the focus for that. So we hired a lot of not good fitting candidates. At the same time, we had an overwhelming speed. We were doing working. Not even one time where we pulled the brake and said, all right, let's see what happened the past years. Do we have to align? Do we have to do something in a different way? And the same problem as we had in the beginning, lack of orientation. Are we a B2B platform, a B2C platform? Who is our real target group? What is our real offer and the real value we want to bring to our users of the platform? So that basically led in the upcoming years, 2017 and 18, to the restructuring stage, where we had a wake-up call because we had a lack of structure in the organization. We were not focusing on our organization, but we were just pulling new projects because, as I showed before, there was investment, there was money for us, and we could spend that money. And we did, as long as we had the money. So a lack of structure, a lack of process, basically, or processes in our organization. And we had lost our focus because we were doing so many projects. We had an organization of 60 people. In 2012, where we started, we have been 5 people, basically. A speed within the 4 years growing to 60 employees. that was the reason why we had to assess or make an assessment for all the projects within our organization, within whatchado, and all the teams. We had to define our main markets to get rid of Italy, Spain, France. What are the real markets where we want to basically focus and operate? So what happened during the wake-up call, when you restructure your organization, you have to find back to focus, of course, cost cutting the same time as well, but not only because of the cost, but because of the assessment of teams as well. So the peak was 60 employees, the drop till end of 2018, 25 employees. But during the reorganization, restructuring, it was pretty interesting to realize that with 25 people, I can achieve the same what I did with 60 people. So that was not only a wake-up call, but also brought back motivation to the organization. Let's see, we have been an organization with too many employees, with too many projects, with no focus at all. And since that, a team has max 6 people. So a team lead, including 5 employees, that's the max a team has to have to be able to manage that team and also to lead that team. At the same time, management had to undergo basically the same process. We had 3 managing directors in 2016, and end of 18, only 1 left. That's basically particularly me, because the other ones found different jobs or another focus, which was not part of whatchado anymore. So the challenge in that time was, what is our customer value? What is the orientation we want to bring back? And did we lose the trust within our organization, with our employees? And in 2019, we started realigning. We restarted basically the air engine. We came up with a task force, going back to the core basically, finding our compass. What is the thing we want to do? What is our vision basically? And the vision was reformulated in a sense which was clear to everybody. It was help career beginners to find their dream job, focusing on the job perspective basically. And the mission to become the number 1 in what we are doing for career beginners. So what is LinkedIn for professionals? That's our approach basically for career beginners, focusing on content. It's video content, it's jobs, it's various tests basically, finding out about your personality, competencies. And so we change our product offer to bring the user basically a focus on, I want to find what I'm good at. I want to find the right fit in an organization. What is the job I can do? And what we are doing is scaling. We redefine our scaling approach again. We are basically outsourcing content in the sense of companies can produce the content on their own. They don't have necessarily to produce with us. And we partnered with a video app, which we will launch in June. So it's easy to do it with your smartphone as well. And the return on invest for our paying customers, which are the companies and organizations, is to get not only access to an audience which is highly relevant, but also to receive relevant applications from their target group. And the challenge in that last stage where we are at right now, it's a whole new business area we are operating at. It's a ticking clock. Why? Talking about Corona, we have no idea what will happen with the economy on a long-term perspective. Right now, we know it's a bit challenging for HR and the labor market in general. That's why I said it's a ticking clock. If the direction is right, which we are heading at. And of course, marketing, because we have to do a whole new marketing approach with the new sector we are at. We are still HR, but we are more focusing on applicants basically and organizations, the career starters. And to the current stage, we are 30 employees. So you see, we are growing again, but I promised to myself, growth has a limit. Growth has a price, and we try to do it not only sustainable, but we look into the future basically to have a sustainable way of growth, and a way of growth which is fun and where we know what the company and the organization is about, where structure is part of it, processes is part of it, fun is part of it, and most relevant, of course, the value and the offer for our users and the paying customers. So that is the big 4 for life. Within talking the past 10-15 minutes, I could talk for hours basically about what we are going through. So if you have more questions, you can reach out to any channel. I will be happy to answer. It's straightforward to you.
Thank you, Jubin. And now we have one quick question from our audience. So did you always plan from the beginning, right from the start, to make a business, company out of whatchado, or did you didn't plan? Was it just a project for you, or did you plan to make a company out of it right from the beginning?
We always planned to make it big. If you would call it a company or a startup, I think in 2010 when we started, we did not have the idea to found a startup. we knew what the approach could be, and we knew about the value of our idea, but we did not have the plan as you have it right now when you want to found a company. We did not have a business plan, basically. The first real business plan we had 2 years after founding our company. After receiving the first investment, we had a real business plan, a real financial plan. So it was not planned as you would do it today. We had an idea, and we said idea is worth a percent basically. The execution was the much more relevant thing for us, and we started executing it. We didn't know that it will end in a startup. We didn't know that it will end in a more mature business, basically. That was all part of the journey.
Thank you so much, Jubin. Thank you so much for your talk and for your time.
You're
And
welcome.
we will now move on to our next speaker, which is Benjamin Rushin. Thank you